Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are good. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. If you are, please leave a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, man. Come on. All right, so today we're going to talk about how to add, a drawdown capital protection. So basically, if you want to, in a day, you could risk well, you don't want to lose like 4% of your accounts, and overall total, you don't want to lose like maybe 10% or 8%. Similar to how prop firms have their own, drawdown mechanism. Then we'll also look at having a time and day filter. So if you want to trade in between a certain time period and if you want to trade on certain days, we're going to talk about that today. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Let's go. All right, guys. So let's get started. So we're going to use the martingale strategy that we built before. If you haven't seen this, please check the previous video. All right. So what we need to do, we want to implement a drawdown capital protection mechanism. So first thing we need to do is let's have a new input group here. And I'll just copy this and we'll call this the capital settings, basically. We'll call capital safety settings. All right. So what we need to do, so let's have a boolean as well. Enable balance protection. Set this to false by default. So we can toggle it on and off if we want. Then also we could have the a double for the daily drawdown percentage. If we do it 3.0%. And if I have another double, the total drawdown, what is it, 8%. Now let's make this 4, just to match what some programs do nowadays. All right, so let's start. So basically what we need is our starting balance. So we'll get this by doing account info double account balance. So then we could have a new double called the daily drawdown equity. So this would be the starting balance minus starting balance again multiplied by the daily drawdown percentage divided by 100. So this is basically saying, like, if we have a 10K account, we're going to get the daily percentage, which is like 4%, which is like $400. So starting balance minus 400 will give you 9,600. So we don't want our equity to go below 9,600 in a day. So we'll also do one for total drawdown equity. I'll just copy this. So this is the total drawdown percentage. All right. So now we have that. What we could do, let's just print it out and ensure I get to the right values. All right, let me compile. Pause real quick. All right, so yeah, we do get 9.6 and we do get 9.2. So that's perfect. All right, so once that's done, let's actually start, doing our checks. All right, so let's start. So all we could do is on the untick method, we could get let's create a variable to have the equity, account info double, account equity. So we also need this variable to keep updating every tick. So we could do that in our initialized variables. So let's put that as well. So we're always getting the real-time update. So here we could do some checks. If enable balance protection is active, we can then check if the equity, then we draw down, check if the equity is less than or equal to daily drawdown equity. So it does do some prints. So then we need to close out all positions and orders in the system. So let's go back to our orders struct our orders include. So I'm going to paste that method here. All right, so before we do that, we also need to create a structure for our orders. You know, we have a structure for our positions only. So let's go to the structs file and we can paste this here. So this structure is the order info, which takes in the same ID, symbol, type, the lots. Or let's remove this, call it well for volume as well. So open price, current price, index, yada yada blah blah. So we also instantiate it here and give it some default values. So let's format that and compile. I need to take this off. All right, so we have our order info structure. So we can go to the orders and then let me copy this out. So this is the method we're going to use to delete all positions and orders. So right now we're calling it a delete all position and orders, which calls it delete all orders and also called delete all positions. So let's do delete all orders first. So basically what we do here is to get the orders total and then do a for loop on all the orders and then we just close the order. So one thing we could add to this is if the order dot symbol equals to the symbol we're working on, then we could close the order up. Yeah, so that's an addition. All right, so now we need to obviously create this method. So let's do that. I'm going to copy and paste the code. All right, so what this does is a close order. It takes in an order info order. So we're going to use the trade class to do an order delete. And we check if you are successful, and that's pretty much it. So the next thing we need to add is the delete all positions method. Let me grab that as well. All right, so I'm going to paste that in. So basically we do the same thing here, but we're just getting the positions total, creating it as a position info structure that we did, do a get ticket on it, and then we check the symbol and we just close out that position. It will create as well. So let me paste that in and format this. So it does a similar thing. Does a trade or position close on the ID and just checks the results. So in case you need to do any extra checks here, you could add that. But yeah, so that's pretty much what we're doing. Delete all position and orders, calls these two methods, which loops through the orders, loops through the positions, and just close it using the trade class. So let's compile. And let's compile here. We do get an error. Okay, I'm missing this method. So let me quickly add that. So we could add this to the top here. So what we are doing is do an order get ticket, and then we create the order from our order info struct and just pre-fill out all the necessary variables that we need for our order. So let's compile this and try it again. Still get an error. Okay, I need to take this out. Position type. I think it's also here. All right, let's format this and compile this. So again, error, position type. Take this out. All right, great. So now we have that method in. We can go ahead to call it here. So this will instantly delete all our orders and our positions and quickly just stop trading. Or rather, it won't stop trading because our bots will reopen one again. So another thing we could do is to stop trading today equals to true. So let's create this new variable and the return there. So we can create this variable false. And we could have some checks. If stop trading today. Ideally, we could print. All right. So another thing we could also do, so let's also do the daily or the total drawdown. So if equity goes below the total drawdown equity, we'll do the same thing as well. But in this case, we won't stop trading today. We'll just call it as a stop. So that will stop our program from running. But before that, we could also have a variable here. So tester stop only works in test environments. So let's create a is tester using the mq info integer. So this will tell us if we're in test mode or not. So basically with this variable we could do if we're in test mode, we want to call test stop, else we want to call expert remove. So that will remove your bots in a live environment and prevents you from losing some money. All right, great. So let's test this out. So our balance protection, we enable that. We don't lose, let's say 3% and 8%. And let's see if we'll stop trading at some point. All right, this is quite tricky. Um, so what we could do, so because we're making profits, we never really go down below the equity. So what we could do, so let's add a comment. So a comment here would tell us what so what we could do, let's create a function to recalculate our drawdowns. So here we could call initialize variables, so we're getting the most recent equity. And then we could recalculate our daily because the total usually stays as is. Well, we only really need the daily drawdown to be recalculated. So once that's done, we could do a comment. The comment will write out a text in front of on your chart so you could see it visibly. So we could use a string format here. So here we'll say our daily drawdown is, I use the percent. total drawdown. All right. So what we could then do, anytime we take a profit, we want to recalculate our drawdowns. So that way we are every single profit we take, we are ensuring that we are recalculating our 3% or whatever daily percentage you put in, and we don't go below that in a day. So let's compile and let's test it out. So when I see the comment there, that's because I didn't call this to begin with. So let's go to on init and also call this there. Compile. All right, so this is the comment that we have. Daily drawdown is 97, which is about 3%, and the total drawdown is 92. So let's see if we hit TP, it gets recalculated. All right, so we hit TP. And it didn't get recalculated for some reason. So that's the bug. I'll test it out again. Okay, so because we're using the same starting balance, that's why. So we need to reset this variable as well. So we could just do this in the initialize variables. All right, let's compile. All right, so TP hit and we recalculated our daily drawdown to 9756, which is 3% of the account balance. So let's keep it plain and see if we lose. So daily drawdown keeps increasing, keeps increasing. All right, great. So our equity got to 10,306. Daily drawdown was 10,309. So we did get below our daily drawdown and we immediately stopped trading. So that's what we want to do. So next thing we could do is to implement, like we stop trading for today and the next day we just start again. So we need to know, when a new day starts, basically. So the way we could do that is to let's create a variable to hold the current date, or rather the start date. Then on init, we could set the start date as a time to string, the time current, and just get the dates. So like 2024, 09, 22. That's what's going to be there. So what we can then do is to What we can then do is to set the every tick, we get the current dates. We have a string called current dates. Now let me make it a global variable, current dates. So it's pretty much be the same thing, but because this value is going to always be updated, we can reference these two together and just do a comparison. So we could say if our start date is not equal to our current date, we can then set the start date as the current date. So that way it keeps it updates on every single day. So we know that a new day has started. So what we could do here is to call a function and set a new day started, for example. So let's add this somewhere. here. So on new day start, let's do a check to see if stop trading is today, if it's true. So then we could tell it to be false, and then we could also add our can trade to true. Because remember when we enter a trade, we set it to false. So because we close out those trades, it's still going to be false by default. So also what we can do is to, since when we lose, we triple up our lot size. We don't want to start the new day with that higher lot size, so we could set our take profit to true as well. So this would make it reset. Then I added this line just for some testing purposes, but let's take it off. And what else? Let's format this. So yeah, let's compile. And let's stop this and let's see how it goes. Multiply, stop loss 6. So daily drawdown is $10,033. 10,126, 174, 399, 586, 633, 681. All right, so we stopped it here at 681. So that last trade was on the 19th. So this is still the 19th. So let's keep going. So we're not going to trade again until the next day. So that's 22. Basically start of market open. So if we check, the last lot was zero point 0.9, so we're able to, scale back down to 0 0.1, and that's where we're just going to start from. So let's see it run. So let's it play out and see where we reach. Hopefully we don't reach all the way down to our, total drawdown. Okay, so we are losing. All right, so we retake the drawdown again. So let's see the equity. There's a bit of drawdown here, but we're not risking up to 3% of the accounts. So yeah, we do land on our feet. So one thing we could test is the total drawdown. So let's reduce this just to test it out. So let's increase multiplier to like 6. That's to make us use more volume. All right, so we got below 9,800 and we just stopped the trade from there, stopped the pot entirely. So yeah, so that's how you implement your daily drawdown capital protection and your total drawdown as well. So yeah, so next thing we need to do is to implement our time and day filter. So if we check the back test, for example, we could see it shows us some data, right? So you could see some days we don't win at all, some days we do win. But let me redo the test. So let's reduce this and take this back to 3 and 8. And let's see what happens. All right, so if we check the back test, we could see that there are some hours where we do lose. And some days where, like Wednesday wasn't too good, Friday it also wasn't too good. So we could implement a hour filter. So let's say we want to only trade by 15 to 21. And we don't want to trade on Wednesdays and Fridays, only Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So let's get right into that. All right, so the first thing we need to do is let's add a new input group. So I'm going to paste some things here. So basically all we're saying is we want to know when to trade on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., etc. So once that's done, we can then go ahead to write out the code. All right, so once we're done with that, the next thing we could do is to create the method that checks, the day of the week and know if we could trade. So let me paste some code here and format this. So this is a Boolean method called check if can trade on day. So we're going to create a MQL date time, call it today, structure it with the time current. Then we're going to get the day of the week from that variable we created. So if the day of the week is Monday and we can trade on Monday, we're going to return true, so on and so forth for every single day. If not, we're just going to return false. So now we have that method, we can then go to the untick. And what we could do here is to um, let's do it over here. So basically, we need to know if we are not in a trade so that our bot could still run. So if no positions opened, and so we can have another method here. If check if you can trade today, which will return a true or false. So basically, if this is false, we don't want to trade. We can't trade today. Return. So yeah, so that should stop us from trading today. Let's say we only want to trade on Mondays or Wednesdays or something. The rest is Thursday. Could leave this on. So I left Saturday and Sunday in case you wanted to use this for like BTC or crypto and stuff like that. Crypto runs, 247. So yeah, so we're only trading on Thursdays. So let's see what happens. So yeah, no single trades. And we only took one trade, which was on the 15th of February. And from my calendar, 15th of February was on a Thursday. Yeah. So we could allow this, let's allow it run. All right, so that entered drawdown a lot. If we check, we can see that we only entered the trade on Thursdays. So only Thursdays is when we enter our trades. So yeah, so that's how you implement the day filter. So let's go to a time filter. So let me reset this back. Okay. So let's go to the code. So for this, we're going to add two variables. So input int mean trade hour. So you could set this to 8. Main trade hour. Then let's have another max trade hour. Set this to 15. All right. So after this is done, what we then need to do is to create two variables. So we use a date time. We call this the time now. Make sure the time current. And then we'll have an MQL date time and call this a time. So on every tick, we want to update our time. So let's do it on initialize variables. So basically, we're going to set the time now to the time current and just do a structure of that time so we get a usable format of the time. So once we've done that, we could then basically in the same if no positions open, we could have if statement. So if our time the hour is less than the mean trade hour, or the time the hour is greater than or equal to the max trade hour, then we could say we are not in the trading hour space. Just return here. So basically what this is saying is if the hour is like, let's say 7, we're not going to trade until it gets to 8, then we want to trade. Then if the hour gets to is greater than 15 or equal to 15, we don't want to trade at 15. So yeah, so this and also this would also not run only if we don't have any positions opened. So yeah, let's create that and test it out. Okay, so let's say yeah, it's to 15. So let's start. Okay, so you can see the first trade happened by 8 and we got out by 15 and we didn't trade for that whole day. So next trade happened again by 8. We stayed in the trade for a while. This till 5 before we got out. Next trade by 8. And this trade lasted till the next day. Next weekend. This was like a Friday. So yeah. Uh, so let's see. This one also started by 8. Yeah. So let's say run. And let's look at the graph. All right, cool. So the test is done. Let's see how we did. So I made about $497 in this. And if you see, we traded every day. And if we check the entries by hours, we only enter by 8 and we don't enter any other hour. So 8 to, what did we set it at? 8 to 15. But we mostly enter by 8 because that's where the market starts. So we could see on Thursdays we lose a lot. So let's say we don't want to trade on a Thursday. So I'll speed up the video so we'll see how the output is. All right, so the graph wasn't too great, but actually made a loss of several $100 here. But if you see, we didn't take any entries on Thursdays. These were mostly Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, which is, what we wanted anyways. But yeah. All right, so let's do a quick recap of what we've changed so far. So we added a new group called Capital Safety Settings, which has the enable balance protection and daily and total drawdowns. We also added the trading settings we have, which has the trade hours for the min and the max and the days to trade on. And we created some new variables like the starting balance equity and some mathematics around the drawdown and some time structs to help us with our min and max trading hour. So we also created a new method called recalculate drawdown, which basically just does the maths again and updates our comments. We also added the current date, which gets us the current date as of now as the code is running. So we do a check if the start date is not equal to current date, we then know that a new day has started. And when a new day starts, we can then check if we stopped trading the previous day due to drawdowns, we want to start trading again and also recalculate our drawdown mathematics around it. Then what else? Yeah, so in our orders, we created some new methods like the get order method, the get all positions, and also to be able to delete all our orders and delete all our positions as well. And we added a new structure for order info. So yeah, that's pretty much how you would implement your drawdown capital protection, your time and day filter. So yeah, if this video helped you or you gained any bit of knowledge, so please hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, my broker is in the description, so please check them out. And yeah, peace.